Hello, good afternoon. Disclaimer, I'm not an imposter, I'm just very inconsistent with my facial hair, but it's me. First question, why the European Space Agency here? We do spaceships, ships go to ports? No, obviously not. Most of you might know the European Space Agency for our programs on space exploration, going to Mars, the Moon, building rockets and satellites. And we do all of that, but we do more than that. We also deal about the data that is generated. All those assets go into space, not for the sake of it, but is to generate some data. And there are programs, like the one that I'm representing, that are concentrating on making sure that this data is used efficiently on Earth and in our society. We've been monitoring the health of our oceans for decades, looking at the salinity, ocean temperature, color, etc., to further the knowledge of our oceans and our science. And this is something that we continue to do, but again, is not the main purpose of today. The purpose of today is to look at the Business Applications and Space Solutions program that incidentally it's been mentioned in the in-group predict project and some other. I think there was on the Signal group an OilX mentioned as well. That is one of our the companies that came through our program. Our objective is to support industry, private industry, to integrate space into their businesses in order to create economic growth, to create sustainable value, increase the resilience of European industry, and increase the partnerships and the whole innovation ecosystem within Europe. How do we do that is through financial support. We have some funding mechanisms to support these developments that typically go between 50K and actually it's a bit more than 2 million. We have quite regularly projects that go up to 5-6 million. We do also provide technical support for all those sectors that have expertise in maritime, in rail, in health, but that they don't understand the capabilities of space technology or space data to integrate those into their system so that they can maximize the value of space. We have also quite a vast network of partners, not just on the aerospace industry, but also on other sectors. And one thing that some companies find quite useful, especially startups, is the stamp of credibility of doing a project with ESA when they go through our program. Now, let's go a little bit more into maritime. Myself, I'm leading all the maritime activities within the program, and it's a quite cool sector to work with. And I really like this picture to illustrate that, because you can see here the EEZs in the world, and the cool thing about it is that as soon as you leave the light blue area and go into the dark blue, so you pass beyond the EEZ, you are closer to the orbit of the International Space Station than you are to shore. That means that in this age of connectivity, in this age of digitalization, optimization, all the information that goes through your ship goes via satellite. So it's your lifeline to the rest of the world. That, in a way, illustrates that the two sectors are not just close metaphorically, but they are also close physically. That's a little bit the scope of our project, that Business Applications and Space Solutions, shortened by as BAS. The objective is, as I was saying, to support any sector development that makes use of one type of space data or space technology. That could be from satellite communication, satellite navigation, Earth observation, weather data, etc., AAS. In terms of the maritime sector, we are active in many different areas. On maritime safety and security is a traditional one. We work with quite a lot of partners, such as EMSA, to make sure that we're addressing the concerns, the challenges of the stakeholders that are in this group. So we are supporting initiatives that go from search and rescue to marine crime and piracy, protecting undersea infrastructure and so on. Maritime sustainability is one that has grown quite a lot. We had put a lot of effort in the last couple of years as well, a little bit underpinned by the new regulatory frameworks that have been appearing, Fuel EU ETS, and we're not going to talk about IMO and MEPC 83. But another area is sports, of course, that concerns most of you here today. And last but not least, the wider blue economy and all the businesses that live out of the sea and water. How we're structuring the program is in different steps, so you can go into the program at any point at different levels of market maturity. Starting with the kickstart, that is the one that Inguru Predict was mentioning, that is a fixed amount of 60K to go and do your more feasibility preparatory work. Then you can move to a proof of concept that typically goes between 250K. Move into a demonstration project with a pilot. And in this case, we would be looking typically values between 500K and 5 million. And on those projects, what we ask is that the bidders, the companies that come to us, already bring some letters of intent from users, from potential customers, saying, yes, we're interested in that development. We're going to be trialing that in real operational scenarios. And last, there is the growth projects, that those are for companies that have developed, implemented, and tested successfully already in one market, and they want to move into a new market, so expanding a little bit their commercial offering. Important to say as well that the support, the financial support that we provide is in a co-funding basis. So we provide co-funding of up to 50% for large companies and up to 80% for startups and SME of all eligible costs. So it's not just for the space bit. We support the development of the whole service, the whole offering. But there has to be an element that is enabled by space data or space technology. It's also important to mention that data or technology doesn't have to be ESA's, doesn't have to be even European. It's any space data. Also important to mention that there is no IP or equity retention on the funding. We do have two different ways to access the program. One is through the thematic calls that we launch on a quite regular basis. For instance, that is one that was closed recently on ports decarbonization, where we were calling for projects that are looking at the digitalization and efficiency improvements, to renewable energy integration, port vehicle autonomy, and so on. That closed quite recently. Some other examples that we have done recently is enhancing port safety and efficiency through space for intermodal transport, and the latest one, space for underwater radiated noise management, which surprisingly for us, there was like a really, really good turnout of proposals. We thought that it would be a little bit more niche, but we had a very good response. Now, we know that when you launch a call for tender, it's quite difficult that you hit industry at the right time, on the right topic. Everyone has their own development cycles, and you have to hit them at the right spot. That's why we also have this open call that is open all the year, and you can submit proactively your application on any topic. It doesn't have to be maritime. The main condition is that you have to be from an ESA member state, living in one of them, and integrate a space asset for a new service. So in here you have the link to this call, and the conditions apply anytime. You define the scope of your work, and yeah, typically between 50 and 80% funding. Now I think there's going to be a barrage of QR codes, so that's going to be my own demise, because I'm going to lose you all on the QRs. Maybe these slides will be distributed, I don't know. If not, on the last slide there is a QR code to my LinkedIn. Ping me an email and I'm going to send you the ones that you've missed. Those are just a very couple of quick examples of projects that we're done, or in this case is currently running. That project is in the port of Livorno with a team involving the Garda Costiera in Italy and Grimaldi as well as a pilot customer, doing autonomous docking by using enhanced PNT technologies, and as well a 5G network via satellite as a backup to connect to the remote operation center. And here we have a completely different project, which is the operation of this drone that is currently operating in the port of Antwerp for enabling the safe transport of chemical samples within the harbor. And you have, again, one of those QR codes to a video that is going to show you a little bit what they do. The scope of the projects is quite exciting working in this program, because you see lots of different users that personally surprise me every day, and the variety of the technologies applied and how they are applied is always very exciting to see. If you're excited about seeing how other people are using those space technologies in the maritime sector, in particular on the maritime decarbonization, in about a month time, we're having a workshop from the big call that we did on maritime decarbonization. We had about 100 applications and 30 projects are running. Again, making use of space data to improve the efforts on maritime decarbonization. And we're going to have 20 of those companies making presentations on the progress that they are doing and presenting the use cases that they have, and that's going to be in the Netherlands. So please join us if that is of any interest. Last, if you want to be connected or aware of what's happening at ESA and in the world of maritime related to space, we have this bulletin that we publish about once every 3 or 4 months with the announcement of the upcoming calls or interesting projects that came out of the program. And that's all from me. Please connect. If we don't have time to catch up now, send me LinkedIn message, email. I'm happy to talk with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil. That was great. We do have time for questions. If anyone has got any questions, or if anyone would like to have a one-on-one chat in terms of funding and opportunity. I think I got my microphone. Yeah, is it running? Thank you, guys. Just to put this down, I'll give it to you. In case there are any questions from the audience for Neil that you would like to ask. Cool. I have a question. Out of all these initiatives and, I guess, calls for potential submissions, what are the ones that you guys wish to see the most, where the strategy and the roadmap of technology and innovation is heading?
Not necessarily the ones that have the newest or craziest technology, but the ones that are going to have an impact both on a commercial and sustainability manner. Okay. At the end of the day, technology it's cool as an engineer, I can get excited about technology, but we put quite a lot of focus on this program on the commercial viability, so that it's not a one-off study looking at some very cool technology, but that there is no impact. At the end of the day, what we want is that space makes an impact on society, whether it is from an economic perspective, so that it creates new revenues, new taxable revenues for the states that are funding ESA, or that it creates sustainable value or safety and security value.
But that is a great guideline, I suppose, for those who might have an idea, who might just be cooking something up in terms of a startup in the port and maritime industry, to really tick that box of sustainability, the commercial value, and to really create an impact in the world at the end of the day. So
exactly, and more often than not, I speak with companies that at first they say, oh, we have nothing to do with space, but then when you start talking, it's like, oh yeah, well, actually, yes, we use AAS by satellite, or we have this Iridium terminal, or we have GPS on board. All those are things that are enabling technologies for our programs. So those are things that could potentially make you eligible for the program.
Okay, perfect. So much, Neil. Really, thank you so much for your time. And as you said, you can reach out to Neil on this QR code that I'm just covering. I am so sorry. And obviously on LinkedIn as well. But please give it to Neil. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.